Hey, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Our Voice 360, our perspectives, our ways. I'm one half of the duo here, Chad Bumgarner. I have with me my man, Pete Hunt.
What's good, family?
Hey, Pete, with that, let's go ahead and rock and roll, man.
And as always, our podcast is brought to you by Elect Graphics and Photography. Allow your vision to become reality and CBD Consulting. Great leadership equals great results. How are you leading?
And also, folks, if there's something you want us to talk about, debate, or if you want to give us uh, uh, an idea of how we're doing, what you want to see, what maybe or hear about, or maybe what you don't want to continue to hear about, whatever the case is, please don't hesitate to contact us. I'm tied tongue today at our email address at ourvoice360 at gmail.com. That's ourvoice360 at gmail.com. Okay, today we got a lot to cover, guys, and a little time to get it in. We want to talk about three particular topics today, and we're going to go pretty fast so we can get in these topics because we do feel like they're important to talk about, and you need to know if you don't know. The first one we're talking about, I'm sure you're aware of, is the black man, the disabled black man who was drug out of his car from the police, even though he told the police he was paraplegic and could not get out of the car. He left his wheelchair at home. You know what I'm saying? He's running some errands or whatever, but the police, I guess, felt otherwise. So we'll jump into that. Also, the 5-year-old kid, and even though this happened, I think close to a year ago, it's back up in the news because of new body cam footage. But the 5-year-old black child who was handcuffed by officers, okay, because he didn't want to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't want to go to school. 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And then last but not least, and this happened more recently, a North Carolina teacher resigns after telling black kids that they would have been her field slaves if it were not for the Constitution. Her field slaves.
Woof.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot to talk about. So let's Pete, let's go ahead and get into it. So let's start out with the brother who was a paraplegic. On October 5th, there was body camera footage that showed the interaction between the Dayton police officers and the paraplegic man who would not exit his vehicle during a traffic stop and was yanked from the car and onto the road. Now, this is according to Yahoo News, where I pulled the article. Owensby, who was the paraplegic, the brother, made reference to the officer that, he did not have use of his legs. He was injured during the accident, has sustained scrapes from the pavement, and is still in pain. He also said that a previous back injury was re-injured. And he was interviewed and, quote, he said, I feel like they don't even respect me as a citizen.
Okay.
Which is a fair statement for pretty much all of how we all feel. I mean, people of color, how we all feel about the police at large. Some of the encounter between Owensby and the police officer was captured by a bystander who filmed it from across the street. The video has received hundreds of shares and comments online. I think it's like 11 minutes or whatever. But the video, shows an officer returning to Owensby and asks him to step out of the vehicle. Owensby tells the officer he can't. He tells him, I'm paraplegic, Owensby said. I got help getting in. And then the officer replies, well, I'll help you get out. And so Owensby says, well, I don't think that's going to happen, sir. And so, then the officer goes back and tells Owensby that due to his history, I guess he ran his plates and his ID, stuff like that. Due to his history, which included drug charges, that they're going to get a canine dog to do a free air smell around the vehicle, and Owensby must exit the car. So there was some more going back and forth, and then, the officer, of course, he gets a little irate, and he's basically telling him, here's the deal. You're getting out of the car. It's not an option. You're going to get out of the car so you can cooperate. These are your only choices here. So there was some more, conversation. And like I said, in the headlines, he was ultimately removed from the car by the officer, even after Owensby told him, I cannot walk. Basically, if memory serves me correctly, I don't want to read the article word for word, but I think he was out running some errands or whatever for someone, or maybe even for himself. But he left his wheelchair at home. So I guess whatever he had to do, he didn't have to get out the car.
Hmm.
It's really none of our business what he was doing.
Exactly.
The bottom line is that that wasn't your business to pull him out. Okay, you don't do that. So I don't get it. I really don't get it. I really don't get it.
Have we not learned anything that from the incidents with black folk and the police? Whether the police are black or whether the police are white, it doesn't matter. They're still the police when it comes to black people. Um, this is extremely sad. If you haven't seen the video, I mean, if you're listening to us and haven't seen the video, go watch the video. And if it doesn't make your stomach turn, if it doesn't make you angry, if it doesn't, piss you off, I don't know what to say about you. Because this video of the Dayton police pulling this black man, paraplegic, handicapped black man out of his vehicle. Chad, I really don't know what the word is without using some expletives. It's
My thing is,
it's
I don't understand. As a police officer, I mean, you run across a lot of people every day, and a lot of people are going to say whatever to get out of a situation. A lot of time, not all the time, but when
mm-hmm,
people are scared, they're going to say some things to get.
mm-hmm,
So I understand you
mm-hmm,
as an officer maybe not believing what this dude's saying, but
mm-hmm,
even if you find out firsthand, okay, this dude is not lying. He cannot walk. When you start
mm-hmm,
working with this guy,
mm-hmm.
sympathy, empathy's got to kick in and
No,
be like, you know
no,
what?
no. Mm-hmm,
Hold, let me finish.
mm-mm, mm,
All I got to do is take this guy's keys. He can't go anywhere,
mm-mm,
right? If I do my investigative research right there on the spot and realize, okay, dude is not lying. Sir, can you turn the car off and throw the keys out or hand me the keys? That way I know
mm-hmm,
the threat of him leaving is eliminated.
mm-hmm,
You got to do a dog canine search or whatever it is. Okay? He can't go anywhere. You're standing right there until the canine unit gets there. So
mm-hmm,
there's nothing this guy can
mm-hmm.
do. I mean,
Right, right.
problem averted. You standing
Mm-hmm,
there with the guy at his door. You're
mm-hmm,
talking to him. You wait for the
mm-hmm,
canines to come. You say,
mm-hmm,
okay, go ahead and search the car. You watching the brother sitting here. He cannot move.
mm-hmm.
Why is that such a hard excuse me? Why is that such a hard scenario? I'm not a cop. I've never been trained as a cop. But to me, that's like common sense.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
You
No,
saying it's too much
no,
like
no, no,
right?
no, 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 no. Common sense is never used when it's the police dealing with black folk. There's no common sense that's going to be used because in the case of the police, 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to say 10 times out of 10 because there are some times where the police do their job, and there are some police out here that do their job correctly and know how to deal with people. But in situations like this, there's no empathy or sympathy for anyone that's black when it comes to police. We've seen it too many times, Chad. We've seen it too many times with interactions with police and black folk where it doesn't matter how pristine our image is, how we can never be. It can be a situation where a person like myself, who's never been in any kind of trouble or has never been locked up for anything, has never been arrested, that don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm black. At the end of the day, I'm black, and I will always be seen by the police as a threat. There's no training for that. There's no situation where that can be trained out of you. You are, as black folk, we are seen as a threat to the police. That's that's their main thought process when they pull over somebody that's black or they encounter somebody that's black. 9 times out of 10, it's from a position of the black person being a threat, whether they're being threatening or not. They're a threat. And so since, police get off for killing black people, for maiming black people, for paralyzing black people and just basically treating black people like crap, and they know they're going to get away with it, guess what? Why not? I could take I've had a bad day. Let me take my frustrations out on these black people. Because I guarantee you, if it's somebody white, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, because I can't tell you how many
if that's
times.
a white man or a white woman who says they're paraplegic, guess what? And if they run their tag or whatever, yada yada yada, and they say they have some prior convictions, I'm not even sure if they bring the K9 unit, because they will have empathy for them because they said they're paraplegic
Well, I
and they're
mean,
white.
right,
So
but my thing is, I've seen with my own eyes videos of white people being pulled over, men, women alike. And I mean, they give the cops the business. They call them cops everything but a child of God.
jump
The
out the
cop will give
car,
them
threaten them.
directions. Oh, you need to get out. I don't need to get out of blank. You get the blank out of my face and call your man, your supervisor, whatever. I'm sick of this blank. I mean, going at it. And the cop, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, not a problem. I'll call my supervisor. But let one of us sit there and say, you know what? I know my right. You're not gonna disrespect.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the cop is like, look, I'll take this from my own, but you, oh no,
Mm-hmm.
no, no, no.
Mm-hmm. Because again, we're always seen as threats to the police. We're always threats. It doesn't matter, what the situation is. It can be a extremely calm situation, and it has to deal with black folk, and the police ratchet it up on purpose. They'll do it on purpose. I've seen it done. I've seen it done where it's a calm situation, and all they have to do is come in and ask some questions, this, that, and third. Mm-mm. They escalate the situation to make it an issue so they can arrest people, black people, so they can put their hands on black people, so they can use the tasers on black people. I've seen it too many times.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's why there's
And it's
such
a
an
mind. It's a mindset, like you were saying earlier.
yeah,
It is
yeah.
a mindset, and
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mm-hmm.
something that's being based on history,
Yeah.
past and current history.
Mm-hmm.
The mindset seems to be fostered. It doesn't matter what state or city of
Yeah.
America that you're in. It seems
Yeah.
to be fostered instead of
Mm-hmm.
being sought out and eradicated. It's being fostered.
Of course,
And
it's
I
being
say that
fostered. Yeah.
because you don't see the fraternal order doing internal investigation saying, yeah, this dude was wrong. We're going to discipline him or her. You don't see that.
Mm-hmm.
They are always behind their fellow officer. Well, depends on what color of the officer you are. They say it's what is it? Something of blue,
Blue wall.
blue wall,
Mm-hmm.
except when it comes to black cops. But that's a whole nother story. End of the day, they look out for theirs regardless of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless. Now, I
Mm-hmm.
do know that California passed a law saying that, cops cannot be rehired out there if they have a bad record. They cannot be rehired out there. But I mean, that's great.
That's one state.
That's one state. All I can do is
Yeah.
just move.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
I mean, you know
I
what I'm saying?
applaud California for that. I do. Now, if
That's
the other
bare minimum.
49 states, right, if the
That's
other
bare
49
minimum.
states
Yeah.
would do that, okay, now we might be getting somewhere. It ain't enough to hang your hat and be like, we've done our job. That's,
Mm-hmm.
there's other ways that they can get into the law enforcement system and do whatever it is they want or need to do. But
Mm-hmm.
I do applaud that to a certain extent. But
Mm-hmm.
it is a mentality that has been fostered for far too long. We all know
Yeah.
the history of police officers, where it derives from, what
Mm-hmm.
its origins, if I must say.
Mm-hmm.
And if people that are listening and watching this episode, if you don't know, you should, Google, the origin of, police officer,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll see that it comes from um.
Slave patrols.
Thank you, Pete. It was on the tip of my
Mm-hmm.
tongue. Slave patrol.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it originated.
Mm-hmm.
It was put into place to keep blacks in their place
Mm-hmm.
and to protect the property of the white folks.
Mm-hmm.
And
In
that's
which, and in that time, what was the property of white folks? slaves.
Oh, they're
So
slave. Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, it goes hand in hand. And again, when your profession comes from such an ugly start, this is your profession. Of course, it's deeply ingrained. It's deeply ingrained into the in policing. I mean, that's probably one of the first things in a lot of these policemen's head that I get to beat black folk head in and suffer any consequence. Because getting back to the black man who was the paraplegic black man that was pulled out of the vehicle, the Fraternal Order of Police in Dayton basically was like, oh, we got the police officers back, and basically their statement was, some traffic stops, get rough, that was basically their response to this situation. So again, it's fostered, it's applauded, I mean,
which is very insensitive, because the brother was paraplegic. Yeah. I could see if he jumped out of the car and did a gun shootout, or if he got out and tried to run, or if he even attacked the cop trying to get away. I could see that. But you got a man that can't walk, and you're talking about sometimes traffic stops get rough.
It doesn't matter, Chad. What did that man look like? That man was black with dreads. And I mean, it doesn't matter what he said. They were going to get him out of the car. And you see, if you watch the video, one way or the other, and if you go and watch the video, for those who are listening and watching, I mean, they pull him out by his hair. So it was the ultimate disrespect. I don't respect you, and I disrespect you so much that I'm gonna pull you out by your hair.
I'm not gonna reach in and try to, grab you, kind of hold you and pull you to the side and sit you down.
Yeah,
and treat you with respect. I'm gonna grab you by your hair.
Yeah, because I know you at this point. I kind of figure out that you really can't walk.
And you really can really have my way.
So I can really have my way with you. So, and even this is how bold they are, Chad. They all had on body cam, and it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Because they know at the end of the day, they're not going to get in trouble. There aren't going to be any consequences for this. There's not going to be any reprimand for this. This is everyday business for the police when it comes to black people. This is what we do. That's what the cops are saying. This is what we do. This is how we handle our business. And so basically, they do things like this on camera, knowing that it's going to come out. So basically, what they're telling the black constituents of that city, or whatever city it is, this is what we're going to do to you. We have no respect for you. So when you encounter us, expect physicality, expect disrespect. That's all it's telling black people. That's why black people are so nervous when they get pulled over, because they don't know. We don't know if we're gonna make it home if we get pulled over. We don't know if we're gonna make it home. And so people need to understand from the black perspective, and that's what we're here for, to give you the black perspective. This is how we feel when it comes to police. We are scared. We are literally scared when we get pulled over by the police. Man, I can't tell you the feeling that I feel if the police get behind me. And I know I'm not doing anything wrong. I know I'm going the speed limit. I know I'm not doing anything wrong. I don't have no tail lights out, none of that.
Pete.
But the feeling that I get when the police get behind me is indescribable.
About 5 years ago, my oldest daughter was, I think, 8th grade, and I went to pick her up from school, and we were headed home, and we were in a rural part of town. And I made a lane change too late. I should have made it earlier, before the white dots became solid lines or whatever. So I made a lane change, and then the cops pulled me over. And this is the first time that I had ever seen my daughter get so swollen with anxiety and just being fearful. I mean, we got pulled over. I didn't have time to get scared because I was too busy trying to calm her down. She started breathing heavy. Her eyes were watery.
Mm-hmm.
She grabbed my hand and she was
Mm-hmm.
like, "Daddy, are we okay?" I said, "Baby, we're fine. We're fine. Just
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
he's
Now,
gonna
now
come
hold
and
on,
talk to me."
hold on, Chad.
Go
Let me
ahead.
pause right there.
hmm hmm
How old was your daughter?
That was eighth grade. So what is
Oh,
that? 13, 12, 13, I think.
your daughter knew at 12 or 13 about how the police deal with black people. Your
hmm
12 or 13-year-old daughter became anxious because y'all were pulled over by the police. She's 12.
hmm
The life of black folk in the police.
Yeah.
But continue. Go ahead, Chad. Go ahead.
That whole incident took about 30 minutes. The cop that pulled me over in this situation was real cool. He was laid back. He explained the situation. I looked outside the window to see where he was talking about the lane change, and I'm like, all right, man, just give me the ticket or whatever. And he was smiling. I mean, this situation was a good turnout. Obviously, I'm still here,
Mm-hmm.
but my whole point was my daughter.
Exactly.
Any other kid that does not look like us would have sat over there and be like, "We're gonna be late for soccer practice," or "I'm
Mm-hmm.
hungry," or
Mm-hmm.
all these other people out here speaking. Why they got my dad? But this situation, my daughter
Mm-hmm.
is over there on the verge of seriously, I'm not exaggerating, on the verge of a nervous breakdown because she was so scared
Mm-hmm.
that cop was going to bash my head in
Mm-hmm.
because of what she has known and seen in the news prior to this.
Right. Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And it's the cops have a lot of work to do because you want the community to work with you hand in hand to catch these criminals, because even though a lot of people of color may or may not live in well-to-do neighborhoods or safe
Mm-hmm.
environments,
Mm-hmm.
we're still people too. It's like Tupac said, even if I lived in the hood, hell, I don't like drug dealers. I don't like killers in my
Exactly.
neighborhood. I don't like thieves, just like Bel Air. They don't like thieves and killers and drug dealers. I'm no different. Just because I don't live up in the
Mm-hmm.
hills,
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't mean we don't want these people around either. We are
Right.
human beings too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they got to realize, man. And they get mad because the communities won't work with them, or the people in the communities at large won't work with them, is
Why
because
would we? Why would we work? Why would we?
to
Because
be a, to be a friend, you must show yourself worthy of being a friend.
there you go.
And you haven't done that.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
You
On
have
any
not done that.
level. On any level. And like I said, we're this is not a cop bashing session, but the truth is the truth.
I was about to say, we're speaking the truth
Yeah,
as people
we're
of
speaking
color
the
and how
truth.
we see it.
Exactly. And if you're not of our complexion, you've seen enough on TV and news to know how it goes down.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Because first thing, the TV, that's abbreviation for television. Any channel you watch, they're going to tell a vision
Mm-hmm.
of what they report.
Mm.
May not be the whole thing. It's
Okay.
their vision. Tell a vision. So I
Okay.
don't care if it's
Okay.
ABC, NBC, uh, CNN, whatever. Each channel is going to tell a vision.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have people that live in the Midwest and the West, and sometimes even in the North and South, what people that don't look like us, when they turn on the TV and watch this, the average person takes what they see on TV, especially from a news segment, as the truth and as law. It's
Mm-hmm.
subconscious.
Mm-hmm.
So if all you see on the 5 o'clock news, 6 o'clock, 11 o'clock news is a mugshot of a black man, or a black man being murdered or killed, or a black man robbing, whatever, subconsciously you're starting to think that that's what black people are. That's what they do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You don't show the black kids that get the, not the GPA, but the genius test. I forgot what it's called. When they measure up there with Einstein or above.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They don't show you the black kids or the black adults who are creating jobs and opportunities and businesses to
Mm-hmm.
further, the country, the economy.
Mm-hmm.
They don't show that. They don't show the new CEO who took over X, Y, and Z, and
Mm-hmm.
how they changed, the company and turned the company around. Now their profits are through the roof. They don't show you that.
Mm-hmm.
They show you the negative side of us
Right.
constantly.
Right.
Every time there's bad news, think about it. A picture flashes up, and it's usually a black male or female
Mm-hmm.
in their worst situation. It's not a picture with them with their family or graduation or whatever positive. It's them with their hair disheveled, looking crazy because that's the image they want you to portray. They want to portray about us
Okay.
because they know what you see on TV subconsciously. You're gonna
Mm-hmm.
take as long. So
Mm-hmm.
when white folks at large are out and about and they're dealing with people of color and or black people, first thing they're gonna do when they talk to you, it's like a friend of mine said, they're gonna try to figure out if you're a or a grow. Remember the
Mm.
conversation I had with you a while back?
Mm. Mm. Okay.
They're trying to figure out what type of black person you are.
Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Are you the one with the double GER or are you a Negro?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're a Negro, you're safe.
Mm.
Do you understand what
Mm.
I'm saying to you, Pete?
Mm.
Do
Oh,
you
I feel you, dog. I feel you.
understand?
I feel you. I feel you.
That's the way it is. And it's
It's,
all because of the media and how they tell a vision of any
mm.
situation.
Mm-hmm.
Very rarely will you see a network that will give you the whole 360 view
Mm-hmm.
of a situation.
Mm-hmm. And
Very
it's
rarely.
funny that and it's funny that you say that and bringing it back to the police.
Hmm?
In most cases, well, in a lot of cases, we are the ER and will
Off
always be
top.
the ER. Off top. We are
They
the
don't even give
ER
us an
off top.
opportunity to
We're yeah, we're never given the opportunity to be treated as human. And
correct.
I've had encounters with the police, and luckily there hasn't been any issues. I mean, it was one particular time that I had an issue where they tried to say that I was the car I was driving at the time fit the description
Oh
of
yeah.
somebody carrying contraband. I'm like, man, I'm on my way to work. Don't get mad at me because
What I'm driving.
I'm driving this Mercedes Benz. Don't get mad at me because I'm doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I work every day, and at that time, every night. I worked every night. I was the third shift guy, so I worked every night. So that don't do that to me. So it's just it's really hard as black folk to deal with the police. It really is
It is.
because you don't know what officer you're going to get. You
Or
don't
you don't know
know
what's gonna set them off. It's like you're in
exactly.
panic mode. It's like I just want to get home.
Home, just like you. When you get
Yeah.
off your shift, I just want to get home. That's all I want to do. I just want to get home, get to my family. That's all.
Well, Pete, let me
But
ask you this. Go
yes,
ahead. Go
sir.
ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna ask you. Shifting gears. How do you feel about a police officer? A police officer
Hmm.
handcuffing a 5-year-old,
We got some
all
problems.
because they don't want to go to school. So now we're shifting gears, folks. We're going into the 5-year-old boy allegedly detained, handcuffed, and threatened by Maryland police. Now, I did see the video, and the handcuffing part was put in towards the end of the video. And what the officer was doing, I'm not saying this is right, but I have to give it to you in full context. He put the handcuffs on the little boy. He said, because if you continue, I'm paraphrasing, to make bad choices, this is what's going to happen to you. Then he turns the boy around, puts the handcuffs on. He says, this is what will happen if you continue to make bad choices. And then even before that, you could hear another officer saying, I can't believe a 5-year-old would behave like that. Who raised this kid? Or again,
Hmm.
paraphrasing, but they were really what is it, berating
Yeah. Hmm.
berating this 5-year-old.
Hmm.
And my thing is, do you know this child's background? Do you know if he has behavior or mental issues? I don't know
Doesn't
if he
matter.
did or didn't.
It doesn't
But
matter.
when you're dealing with a 5-year-old in a school and he or she may act out for some reason, I'm not saying his actions should have been condoned, because there's a
Hmm.
way to talk and discipline a child without being so threatening and belittling, because
Hmm.
this is traumatizing to a
Hmm.
5-year-old,
Hmm.
especially if they don't know you at all. And then you come in with this uniform and you're berating and you're talking down to this kid. And this now the kid is just crying. And, kids cry if they're hurt or confused or scared or, whatever. And there was no one there to comfort this kid and calm him down and be like, hey, buddy, what's going on? Talk to me. Why don't you want to be at school? Or what made you throw that ball? How were you feeling, when you threw that ball? None of that was done. They treated this kid, per the video, like he was an adolescent or, a teenager or something to that effect. They're talking, this is how you make decisions? You keep making decisions like this, you're going to be blah, blah, blah. I'm like, in the world? It was crazy.
Again, Chad, saying what I said earlier, it doesn't matter to the police how old we are, how much money
You're starting to sound
make,
like a broken record.
how much money
but it's true,
we
though.
make.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. True. We are a threat even at 5. Even at 5 years old, Black folk are threats. And in the article, I read the article, before we got on. And the article stated that not only did they handcuff, they put him in the back of the police car because he walked off campus.
He walked off campus.
Which, it is what it is. First of all, as an officer, why wouldn't you call the school? What school, little boy? What school you go to? Who's your mother? Do you know your mother's phone number? You call their mama. You call the child's mama. You call the school. Say we got little Johnny down here. He's down the street. What do you want us to do? This, that, and the third. But no, that's not how the police are going to treat a Black child. They would treat a white child like that.
Oh, no,
it would have been all kind of Amber Alerts and
you'd bought some ice cream for him.
All kind of stuff. But no, this is a Black child. So guess what? I see you as a Black child, so I have to treat you as I would treat a Black adult. How do the police treat Black adults? They see there's no differentiation between Black child and Black adult. We're all Black, so it doesn't matter. We're going to treat you the same. And in this instance, this was a Black cop, so it doesn't matter.
True.
Black cop, white cop, they're all the same. They're all the same.
I thought you was gonna bust out in the KRS-One.
Yeah. So again, it doesn't matter the ethnicity of the cop when it deals with Black people. They're all trained the same. We're a threat, and we will always be the threat, whether 5 years old or 85 years old. It doesn't matter whether being able to walk or being paraplegic. It doesn't matter.
You know what? It concerned me, Pete, because even the Black cop that I saw in the video, which I think was a female, she was, I don't know how a 5-year-old could behave like that. Well, my thing is this. Number one, where is your wisdom and your patience? Because the thing is, you don't know what environment this kid comes from. And I'm not trying to knock the kid's environment because I don't know. But my thing is, if a kid is acting out, there's a reason. So instead of jumping on the kid about his behavior, what you want to do is find out why. Why is the child acting like this? How can we help?
No, there's no help when it comes to that Black child. Chad, there's no help because we're all treated the same, whether 5 years old or an adult. Even in the article, they're saying from the body cam footage, they have the child in the police car talking about, does your mama spank you?
Well, she needs to.
And exactly. If she doesn't spank you, she gonna spank you today. I mean, it was so bad in this article, Chad, that when the mother got there, she basically was like pulling the baby's shirt up, showing him that, I don't abuse him.
Right.
Because the police asked her, do you beat your child? First of all, that's none of your business. See, that's the mindset.
That kid gave you no indication that he was abused at all. So where did that even come from?
Exactly. Why would you even ask that parent that? And for her to bend over backwards to prove to the police, even though her child is being disrespected and treated poorly, She overlooked that her child was treated poorly and being disrespected at 5 years old. That she automatically went to the I didn't do nothing, police, Mr. and Mrs. Officer. I've never done anything to my child. What?
Right.
Hold on. It just totally flipped the script from the police being out of line and out of hand to this parent, this mother, trying to defend herself against the police.
Mm-hmm.
What crazy world do we live in where that happens, where you can't even defend your own child without being in a situation where you have to defend yourself
Right.
from the police?
Mm-hmm.
That makes no sense, Chad. It makes no sense. But again, it goes back to the police.
How they look at us, right? How they view
Do
it.
not respect Black folk at any age. It doesn't matter, 5 or 85. It doesn't matter. We're all the same. We're all threats.
And you know what? That's sad, because it's like I have been preaching this for the longest, and it seems like people just either they don't understand or they don't want to understand. But I keep telling them, Black folks are like any other type of ethnicity. And what I mean by that is we are not a monolithic group of people.
Mm-hmm.
We're all different.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are not all the same. We don't all like the same things. We don't all look the same, contrary to popular belief.
Mm-hmm.
So why would you treat us all the same?
Mm-hmm.
I know your answer for that. That's kind of rhetorical, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you.
They look at us as a monolithic group because I feel like it's easier for them that way. It's easier for them to do their job, when they can look at us all one way. It's just easier, because to really get to know somebody, to really get to sit down and know a Black person, they're scared that they might like us. I really believe that, Pete.
Wow.
I really feel like if they really sat down to get to know us, they're scared that they might like us. And that's the thing. They don't want to. They don't want to. Because now that goes against everything they've been trained. And so it even goes back to slavery time. It's like you had some white folks who really felt like Black people were people, because they were the ones that were helping them become free. But at the same time, they would only stick their neck out for so much or for so long because of two things. Number one, you never want to get ostracized by your own people.
Wow.
That's lonely. Number two, you don't want to die the death of a Black person. Do you understand what I'm saying? So to know us is to love us and like us, because we are spiritual people. I mean, it's just what it is. We're more apt to pull in people from other ethnicities quicker.
Oh, yeah. We are a docile
any
people.
other
we are such
ethnicity.
Yeah, we are such love. Yeah, we are. We since we were first, we were God's best, if that's what you believe. And I mean, when you're first and you're the best, you're going to be hated.
There's a target, yeah.
That's a great term. There's a target on your back. When you're the best and when you were first, you're going to be the most hated. You're going to be the most stripped of your resources, because you was given the resources first. They're going to take away from you because you're the best and you're first. Everything in this world revolves around Black folk. Nothing happens without Black folk. It's innate for us to be, we're in tune with the earth, the spirit earth. That's who we are. We are the earth. You can go back to any science class and see who the first person on this earth was. The oldest bones of this earth are Black folks' bones.
The deeper you dig, the blacker you get.
There you go.
This several times.
There you go. I mean,
and there's scholars that are Black and non-Black. They have all confessed the same thing. I mean, it's science.
Yeah. And so when you have that dynamic of being first and being the best, they're going to hate you. And that's the position we're in now, whether it was slavery or 2021. there's not much change. We've gotten, I mean, there's not a lot of change between that other than us being free and some voting rights that they're trying to take away.
Well, you know what? I'm glad you brought up the slavery piece, because there's a school in North Carolina that there's a
Segue.
teacher that resigned.
Hmm.
I can't believe the school allowed her to resign, but the teacher resigned after telling black students that they would have been her field slaves if it was not for the Constitution.
Oh man.
Um,
Oh
a
man.
teacher, the teacher resigned from a North Carolina charter school. It was Winterville Charter Academy, right outside Greenville, North Carolina. Um, Anastasia Ryan, the principal of this school, sent a memo to parents of the 8th graders on September 24th. So this is really recent, acknowledging that there had been a racially insensitive lesson about the Constitution at the school, and that the teacher responsible for it had resigned following an investigation. Now, according to the station, the memo said that the culturally sensitive training for the teacher that resigned would be provided, in addition to training for the school's current and future staff.
Wow.
So the teacher, whom the school hasn't identified by name, had them as in the black children, raise their hand during a constitutional lesson and reminded them that if it wasn't for the Constitution, they would be her field slaves. Her field slaves. Okay. Now,
Wow.
evidently, this is not the first racial rodeo for this school, and I believe for this teacher, because there was a prior incident to whereas a little white boy called a black boy a monkey. And so the black boy, when he educated the white boy on being racist and how he didn't like it and don't call him that, the black boy then went to the teacher for support. And then the teacher turned around to him and said, "Oh, it's okay. We're all a little bit racist." So then with that being said, the black boy turns around and calls the white boy a cracker. Now, this prompted the teacher to threaten the black boy with disciplinary action. So you can call me a monkey and it's okay. We're all a little racist. But if I turn around and retaliate and call the white boy a cracker, now disciplinary action must take place. I'm disgusted right now. I am so disgusted. I mean, that these folks would have the audacity and the boldness. And these are people that are teaching and educating our young kids. Our young kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
But see, when we talk about bringing Black history into the schools as a curriculum, all hell breaks loose. All hell breaks loose. It's still American history.
But see, it's about at this stage in the game. I mean, you know, we're going through all of this CRT stuff, critical race theory, which is not taught in school, which is
at all,
which is a college graduate course. See, this is we've come to the point in the fork in the road where people don't want to be held accountable for their actions. People don't want to teach their children the real history of this country and what this country was built upon, and the lie that it was built upon, and
the sin that it was built upon. The original sin.
Exactly. So I mean, so we don't hurt little white children's feelings. No. Slavery was not only Black history; it was white history.
But wait a minute. So, since we're talking about feelings, so it's okay to hurt one group of people's feelings, but it's not okay to hurt the other group of people's feelings.
Chad, I mean, we talk about this.
We've gone through this, Chad. We've gone through this,
bro. We've gone through this. As a people, we are not respected, whether it's the police or the educational system.
This is why I told you earlier. It's easier to look at us all Black folks as one entity.
Right.
Because it's easier to deal with us that way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're dumb, they're this, they're that.
Mm-hmm.
Because as soon as you get to know us, now you're conflicted in your spirit
Mm-hmm.
as a person of non-color, as a white person. Let me just say that. Now
Mm-hmm.
you're conflicted in spirit
Mm-hmm.
because you really like this person. And I'm not saying like you want to date, but like this is really a genuine person. This
Right.
black man or this black woman is really cool. I like what they have to say. I like how they think. I like how they make me feel. I like the intelligent conversations we
Mm-hmm.
have. This
Mm-hmm.
person is a great person. Now I'm not black anymore. Now I'm a person. You see how the shift is now? Now
Mm-hmm.
the guard comes down because now I see you as a person, Pete. I don't see you as a black person or a
Mm-hmm.
black man or a black woman. I see you as Pete Hunt now.
Mm-hmm.
See you as a person. Now I'm conflicted because now if I continue like this and treat
Mm-hmm.
you like a friend,
Mm-hmm.
like the good Lord that they claim they follow tells us to do, we'll jump on that later. Now
Mm-hmm.
that I treat you as a friend, because
Mm-hmm.
to be a friend, you must show yourself friend worthy, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now you run the risk of your peers looking at you. Oh, you're friends with a black person? Of course, they'll say another word. Now you don't want to be ostracized because you love them too. These are your people.
Mm-hmm.
So now you conflicted. So now either one or two things. Either they try to play both sides of the fence for as long as they can, or they withdraw from you
Mm-hmm.
because they don't want to be ostracized.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got this younger generation that don't give a you know what,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
which I love about them. They don't
Mm-hmm.
care.
Mm-hmm.
They don't look at this color as much as we did. Now, I'm not saying all of them, but the younger generation, the past couple of generations are starting to do away with, for some part, the race part because they don't like that. They like
Mm-hmm.
knowing people. They don't like categorizing people based upon color and then throwing them in some kind of compartment.
Mm-hmm.
And the older generation is furious because they're trying to continue this legacy. They're trying to pass this racist
Mm-hmm.
legacy on because it's about power.
Mm-hmm.
And this younger generation, like, we don't care about power. We just want to get along.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we can all get along, then we can all work together, then we can do things for each other. But
Mm-hmm.
older generation, like, no, we must stay on top. We're losing. That's what you're hearing now. You're
Mm-hmm.
hearing fear.
Mm-hmm.
You're hearing fear.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're doubly frustrated again because the younger generation is not trying to hear that. Now you got some of this younger generation that is buying into this old generation, hook, line, and single. But for the most part, it's starting to wane. But I mean, we have a long way to go. But um, this teacher, I don't know why she was allowed to resign. She should have been fired. She should have been fired because as a black parent, I'm looking at this situation. I'm like, why did you allow her to resign? It's like you
Mm-hmm.
found out, you went to her like, hey, this is going to come out. So either you resign or we're going to have to,
Mm-hmm.
fire you. So they're
Mm-hmm.
giving her options. I know that's what happened. They gave her the
Of
option.
course.
I know that's what
Of
happened.
course. Of course. Of
So
course.
she's able to resign and keep her name and her pension and whatever, and then maybe move to another town somewhere. Maybe she'll change her name. Maybe she won't. Teach somewhere else or go into another field altogether. She's good. There's no
Mm-hmm.
repercussion. Now, the
Mm-hmm.
school board and the school,
Mm-hmm.
they'll be stung for a little while. But
Right.
I mean, they'll eventually bounce back. They'll come to
Right.
the student body and the teachers and be like, hey, we apologize for this terrible situation. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna have a whole bunch of racially sensitive classes for our
Mm-hmm.
teachers and all this fluff that
Mm-hmm.
is just the same thing that happens with police departments. Yeah, we're gonna re-educate our
Exactly.
police. And then you see leaked videos of police while the video is going on about racially insensitive whatever. They're sitting there on their phone or reading a magazine and nobody's paying attention because they don't want to.
Chad, let's go. We're gonna let's dive a smidgen deeper before we get off of here into the mindset of this teacher. Now, I don't know this teacher personally. I don't know this teacher from Adam's House Cat. I don't even know this teacher's name, but I know this teacher's mindset
Mm.
and where he or she is coming from. Was it a female teacher?
You
Well, either male or female teacher, their mindset.
Oh, it
because
was a female teacher.
okay,
It was a female teacher.
her mindset was one of ownership.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. And the reason why I say that is because
Of her statement. Yeah.
the thing that you thought of
Mm-hmm.
when you made those black children raise their hand
Because this lesson was about the Constitution. Mm-hmm.
was ownership.
Mm-hmm.
That was your mindset because what did she say? If it wasn't for
Right.
the Constitution,
Correct.
you would be my
My
field slave.
fields. Yes, sir. That's
Chad,
mm-hmm.
my field slaves, meaning that I own
Own
you.
you. Yes, sir.
So your mindset as this teacher is so we can go ahead and deduct that this was a white teacher
Mm-hmm.
because field slaves. Okay, you get the point.
I do.
You have a mindset of ownership that you own these children,
Mm-hmm.
or a mindset that I could have owned you
If it weren't for the Constitution.
if
Yeah.
it wasn't
Yeah.
for the Constitution, for this piece of paper here.
Mm-hmm. This is what you're injecting into
What's so
some.
funny is Chad, that the Constitution didn't eradicate slave.
Mm-mm.
Okay, that's even further problematic because this is a history teacher who obviously doesn't know history.
Oh, she know it. She knows it the way she knows it.
Exactly.
And she's trying to make sure that the kids learn it like that. So
There
she's
you go.
already tainting the waters.
There you go. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So again, first of all, there's no CRT in schools anyway, regular school anyway, K through 12 anyway. But you have a teacher telling black students that if it wasn't for the Constitution, they would be her field slaves. So first of all, you don't respect your children in your class. You definitely don't respect the black children in your class.
Nor their parents, because kids come home. Hey, what happened in school? How was your day? What went on? And then you don't think kids are gonna talk?
Exactly.
Yeah, we learned today that my teacher said that if it wasn't for the Constitution, we would be her field slaves. Kids don't understand it. They don't process that. But when you tell a black parent that,
those kids. Yeah, those kids definitely understood what she was saying. That's why they went home and was like, hey, mom, pop, grandma, you know what I'm saying? So again, yeah, and then again, this teacher's mindset is one of what's the word I'm looking for? It's one. Her mindset is off. Her mindset is one of, again, ownership. So you're looking at these children as slaves, as slaves, because as a teacher, why would you say that? Why would that even be in we're talking about the Constitution. And for you to even allow the black, okay, all you black kids, raise your hand.
Mm-hmm.
So you made it a part of your studies to, first of all, embarrass and disrespect.
I was just going to say that you made it intentional to embarrass and belittle these kids. Because now you got these white kids looking at these black kids now.
Ooh.
You see what's being put in these heads now? You see that statement right there that their teacher made. Belittle these black kids. Because now you got my hand up now. Now you got me looking. Yeah. If it wasn't for the Constitution, you'd be my field slave. So now I'm like, wait a minute, what?
Whoa, where's
you got the white kids, right? And then you got the white kids looking.
Really?
We can own them?
Bro.
That's how powerful that is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because you'll be amazed at what kids remember from childhood all the way into adulthood, and how it helps or hurt their lives and their daily transactions with other people.
Mhm. Yeah, because I mean, you don't get a racist heart as a child. That's something that's taught.
That's
Racism is
taught.
taught.
It's taught. That's my whole thing. It's taught.
It's taught. So you're infiltrating these children's minds with hate and just
Which is
disrespect.
why, Pete, which is why I feel like these teachers, people that are going into the teaching profession really need a deep psychic evaluation before they go into the school system to teach these kids. It has to be more than just going to school, college, and maybe even grad school.
Mm-hmm.
There needs to be a deep psychic evaluation, just like with being a police officer. When you're dealing with jobs like these, where you're interacting with all different walks of people in life,
Mm-hmm.
you need to be evaluated to see what kind of person you really are.
Right.
I really feel that
Right.
way, because it's hard enough to send our kids to school because we already have this little tinge in our heart about how are they going to be treated, how are they going to be
Mm-hmm.
respected. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Right.
And then when incidences like this happen,
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like in your gut is like, I knew this was going to happen. I knew it,
Right.
even though you were hoping for the best, because
Right.
the school tests and scores were great, and the teachers were getting teachers of the year,
Mm-hmm.
and this school is in a great school system. And as parents,
Mm-hmm.
that's what we look for, because we want to
Right.
give our kid the best opportunity at a solid education.
Exactly.
But it all falls apart when you find out that are teachers that are like this, that are teaching in those schools, that are telling our kids, and
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily our kids, but the white kids too, because now the white kids, that's plugged into the back of their brain. Oh, I can own them. I didn't know that.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So their
Mm-hmm.
approach to black people or Indians or Chinese or whatever could be different because of this miseducation from this teacher is giving.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And it needs
Yeah.
to be, there needs to be more work done before these teachers go into these school systems. It
Mm-hmm.
needs to be a deep psychic evaluation, as best they can, to figure out if this person is fit to, go in and teach the kids.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my take on it. As a parent, I'm thoroughly disgusted, and I would be truly pissed,
Mm-hmm.
that this happened.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's happening here, it's happening in other places too, and we
Of
all know
course.
that. I mean, it's never not happened. It's like Will Smith said, it's just being recorded.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's being
Exactly.
recorded.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
but yeah, that was that was a heartbreaker right there, because I feel for that
Yeah.
kid. I don't know what kind of
Mhm.
those kids, because I don't know what kind of trauma that set in.
Exactly.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Some of it you may see right away, some of it you might not see till later.
Mm-hmm.
That's the hard part. You
Mm-hmm.
got to watch these kids and see how because that plays into self-esteem.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? That plays
Exactly.
into interaction with white folks, how they gonna start dealing with white folks or
And
others
how their white classmates will now interact with them.
with them. Yeah, it's crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy. All right, Pete, let's move into our black inventor this week, and I got a brother by the name of David Nelson Crosthwaite, Crosthwait. David Crosthwaite Jr. was an African-American inventor who is known for creating the heating system for the infamous Radio City Music Hall in New York City. He was born in 1898 in Nashville, Tennessee, May 27th. He grew up in Kansas City, where he attended an all-black school. From his youth, he trained to become an engineer. His teachers and his parents were very encouraging and challenged him to do experiments and make designs, just like any parent would when they see a gift in their child. They try to cultivate
Right.
it and
Right.
get behind them or whatever. He graduated from the high school of Kansas City back in 1908, and he got a full academic scholarship to Purdue University in Lafayette, Indiana. Came out of Purdue in 1913, top of his class, degree in mechanical engineering. He moved to Iowa. He worked for Dunham Company, where he designed and installed the heating systems.
Mm-hmm.
He was also in charge of diagnosing heating system problems when they weren't working properly. So he was the head man when it came to, situations like this. And he rose through the company ranks and was promoted supervisor at that time. That's amazing.
Right.
In the early 1900s, a black man promoted to supervisors. I'm thinking he was fair skinned. That's the only way I can see that he was fair skinned. And I'm not trying to use colorism, but in those
That's just true.
days,
That's
it's
just
just
true.
true. When you're
Yeah.
fair skinned like that, you have the opportunity to pass and to be promoted.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, while he was working for the Dunham Company, he designed the heating system for the Rockefeller Center and the New York City, again, the Radio City Music Hall.
Mm.
He also has patents, 39 of them, 39 patent inventions, and received 80 international patents for his work on heating systems, refrigeration, vacuum pumps, and temperature regulating devices.
Mm-hmm.
He belonged to a number of national organizations, including American Society of Heating and American Chemical Society.
Mm.
He retired from the Dunham Company in 1969 and began teaching courses. He went back to Purdue to
Wow.
teach. Yeah, he died in 1976. But he is still recognized to this day for his many inventions and innovations in the heating and cooling systems. Mr. Daniel Nelson Crossway Jr.
Mm.
My man.
We are great. Yes, sir. We are great.
Indeed, indeed. Pete, what's also the book of the week, my brother? What you got?
The book of the week is a new book by Jelani Cobb and David Remnick called The Matter of Black Lives. This book came out probably a week ago from our recording now, and I haven't had a chance to pick it up, but I will probably be picking it up really, really soon. But it's a very interesting book as far as what it consists of. It's basically a collection of the New Yorker magazines, their groundbreaking articles on the black race. I mean, from Jelani Cobb and James Baldwin and Ta-Nehisi Coates and Zadie Smith and Toni Morrison, among other authors who have written for the New Yorker. So basically, it's a compilation of articles and essays written in the New Yorker, basically about Black life, the triumphs, the failings, the disappointments, and everything else in between. And like I said, it's a brand new book that has been out about a week. And again, it's called The Matter of Black Lives: The Writings from the New Yorker, again by Jelani Cobb and David Remnick.
That sounds like a definite must-have. I like that. I think it's going to be really good because you said it's collection. It's kind of like what we was talking off air about the 1619 project, the collection of
Right.
essays, articles, and even interviews, of people. So that's definitely going to be a treasure, really, to have. Well, now I'll just go ahead and give the Bible verse, a quote of the week, and we're coming from, what did I have? I had Romans chapter 15 and verse 5. And it reads, "Now may the God who gives perseverance and encouragement grant you to be of the same mind with one another according to Christ." Right. Romans 15 verse 5. Right. And before we go, I definitely got to give y'all my quote.
Drop it.
That's bad boy. Love it. We got to live by it. By the famous Marcus Garvey. And he says, "Never forget that intelligence rules the world. And ignorance carries the burden. Therefore, remove yourself as far as possible from ignorance and seek far as possible to be intelligent."
There it was. There it was right there.
There it was. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to this week's edition of Our Voice 360, Our Perspectives, Our Ways. Pete, any last words?
As always, protect yourself, protect your family. Always be aware of your surroundings, man. And hey, be great, man. Love on each other. Be great, man.
Indeed. All right. Be safe. Be blessed. and we are out.
Peace.